A great number of the people followed Jesus, and among them were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bore, and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will begin to say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do this when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry?" Not everyone in the crowd surrounding Jesus was angry. Not everyone was shouting. Not everyone wanted to see Jesus suffer. Our stations take us from the kindness of Simon's helping to the sorrow of these women lamenting. They were wailing for him. Mourning women played a fundamental role in Jesus' time and place, so common that they could easily be ignored. But Jesus sees them, he hears them, and addresses them. His words are not reassurance but warning. There are even more heartbreaking days ahead. And yet Jesus, pausing from his own pain, giving his attention in spite of his own agony, is itself a kind of blessing. Mourning and blessing, lament and kindness. They take up equal space in this scene. Jesus even mentions a time when a usual lament will be understood as a blessing. Now later on, take a pinch of salt and sprinkle it into a bowl of water. And then use your finger to swirl it around. And while you're doing that, remember the tears of the women who followed Jesus on this path. Remember the tears Jesus shed as he looked out over the city. Think about the things over which you have shed tears. Mourning is a sign of profound care. And when you swirl your finger in the salt water, imagine your own tears, mixing them with others, all part of the mourning for what is broken in our world. Remember, too, the blessing of care poured out. As Jesus approached Golgotha's hill, he was no longer able to carry the burden himself. But his destination was set. He must endure what was ahead. As long as our image of who Jesus is superhuman, we won't be able to see the anguish that he carried on that day. Nor will we see his need. Or we'll be able to reveal the compassion that we have to offer to others. On that day along the journey, in the midst of their own deep pain, women had gathered together. Jesus' own mother, perhaps his sister, Mary Magdalene, Martha, and others. And they looked through their own pain to offer what compassion they could. They did not need to push their own pain to the side like a heroine in a novel. Rather, they saw Jesus through their own tears and their own fear. They offered what they could on that day, on the way. At the cross and to the grave. Helping. Accompanying. Sharing compassion. And when they could, their hands and words. When have you had to do the same in the past? Where are you being called to do it today? Can you peer through your own tears to see the humanity of others? The ill, the impoverished, the oppressed, the mourning, the angry, the immigrant, this is what this station along Jesus' way calls us to do.